Hello legends. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the native MCP client tool and MCP server trigger in n8n. I just want to distinguish between these being two separate workflows. So the MCP client tool is actually attached to your overarching agent workflow, which then calls a separate workflow which contains your MCP server trigger. So whenever the AI agent wants to use one of the MCP tools, it hits the MCP client tool, and then the tool communicates with the MCP server trigger. Now the server trigger has all the information of, and for example here I've just got the Gmail nodes connected to this, and as you know, when you're setting up tools within n8n, you actually attach descriptions to each of these separate tools. So this server trigger has access to all these Gmail nodes and has an understanding of each of the descriptions, so when to use each one, and it communicates that back to the MCP client tool, and then you have this kind of collaboration between the client tool and then the server trigger. And then this communication extends back to the AI agent, and that's how you have the AI agent distinguish between each of these tools and then decide which one to use. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up the native MCP tool and the MCP server. Then I'm going to go across to speak about how to structure the actual servers, because you may have seen a bunch of different videos already where you have this kind of multi-tool MCP server that has access to all these different tools. So we got Gmail, Zendesk, and ClickUp, or you may have seen how people are actually creating separate servers to host separate tools. So we've got a server here for Gmail, a server here for Zendesk, and a server here for ClickUp. And then I want to speak about the difference between MCP and the execute n8n workflow. So I actually watched Nate Herc's video about the MCP that he released recently, and he had a very good point. Essentially, the MCP is very similar to the execute n8n workflow node, which is this setup over here. So you have the call n8n workflow tool, which just triggers off an execute workflow, which then has the ability to actually run a bunch of different actions as well. And then finally, I speak about where I think the actual value of MCP lies. So if you're watching different n8n MCP videos on YouTube, you can actually see people already plugging in the MCP servers into something like their Claude desktop app, which just gives their Claude desktop agent even more functionality. But actually for this point here, I just want to think a little bit about, all right, well, we have MCP within n8n. What's the actual value of using MCP within n8n? Not taking into consideration using it with like Claude desktop or something like that. So for the first part of this video, I've got a split screen over here where I've got two n8n canvases. On the left side, I've got a blank canvas where I'm going to build the MCP agent. And on the right side, I've got a blank canvas where I'm building the MCP server. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to add a chat step over here. So I'm going to type in chat trigger, and this is going to enable me to send a message into the AI agent to then execute the server when we're building it out. Now the second thing I want to do is add an AI agent. Cool. Let's give it some. Let's give it an LLM so it can actually think and do things for us. And now, in order to get the MCP client tool, just going to click on this tool plus button here. And I want to type in MCP, and I want to click on MCP client tool. So now the client tool in the configuration has a space for an SSE endpoint, and that SSE endpoint is actually the URL that we're going to get from the server over here. So let's kickstart this process. So again, this separate workflow over here is specifically for the MCP server. So the first thing we need is just type in MCP and then get the MCP server trigger. Awesome, so now we have the MCP server trigger. So double clicking into here, going into the settings, I've got the URL that I'm going to be copying and pasting into this SSE endpoint over here for the client tool. For now, I'm going to be using the test URL, but if you're going to make this into production, you'll just flick over to production and copy this as well. So for the test case, I'm going to grab this URL by clicking it, and I'm going to paste it right into here. Awesome. So now I'm going to zoom out, and on the left side, I've got my agent configured. I've got everything set up, and I've got the endpoint from this server plugged into the MCP client tool. So I'm just going to hit save on this workflow to solidify everything in place. And then over here, I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to give this server the ability to send me Gmails. So I'm going to type in Gmail and click this. And now for these settings, I'm going to keep things super basic. So I'm going to leave it as the send operation. For the email, I'm just going to put my email into here. And then for subject and message, I'm going to use the let AI decide buttons. And that means that this agent, when it executes this MCP client tool and it has access to the Gmail tool, it's going to decide by itself exactly what subject and what message to send. So that looks all good for me. I'm going to click out of here, and now I'm going to hit save. And from here, yeah, you would build out more tools to plug into this server, but I'm just going to keep this very simple for now because the second part of this video is speaking about servers. So for now, I'm just going to click on test workflow, and we're going to be able to see when we're executing this agent exactly what's happening over here. So to do that, I'm going to go on Open Chat, and I'm just going to send this message. So I'm going to say, send an email with a random fact about Poland. So I'm going to zoom out of here, hit send, and now our agent's going to hit this MCP client tool, which is going to be consuming our Gmail send function over here. And there we go. In my Gmail inbox, I've got the AI actually had a pretty good email subject, did you know, which is nice and curious. And then we have, here's a random fact about Poland. Poland is home of the world's largest castle complex known as the Malbork Castle. It was built in the 13th century by the Teutonic Knights and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. That's pretty cool. I actually didn't even know that. Okay, so now at this stage, I actually want to dig into how to set up the most ideal MCP server trigger. So there are two main ways to set up an MCP server. So we've got on the top a single server that has access to a collection of different tools. So we have the one server that's plugged into 3 separate Gmail tools, so we can actually send emails, reply to existing email threads, or get all emails. We then have Zendesk, and then we have ClickUp as well. So for this setup, you would have one workflow with your MCP agent, and then you have one MCP client tool, and this client tool communicates directly with the server, and the server is going to give information back into this client tool of, hey, I've got access to these 3 Gmail nodes, I've got access to these Zendesk nodes and these ClickUp nodes, and then the agent's going to be able to basically decide, what action they want to complete and which node to use. And then over here, we have the second way of actually creating these servers. So in this setup, we have a dedicated Gmail MCP server that has access to only the Gmail tools. Then we have a Zendesk server with the Zendesk tools and a ClickUp server with the ClickUp tools. So this kind of setup is actually slightly more overhead than the previous setup where we only had one server and one MCP tool. And as you can see here, this MCP agent actually has to have a dedicated Gmail MCP tool that communicates with this server, then a Zendesk tool to communicate with this server, and then a ClickUp tool to communicate with this server. And I think when you're at the stage of only needing a couple of different tools per server, you might be able to get away with this kind of setup. But I actually like to do separation of concerns. So when I'm building out my workflows, I try and give the least amount of responsibility that I can to separate workflows, mainly because then you have a highly specialized workflow or a highly specialized agent that only completes one task. And also for this demo, I'm just using 3 of the Gmail nodes, but actually Gmail might have like 6 or 9 nodes, Zendesk might have 15 nodes, and your different tools that you're using, they can have maybe 3, or they can have 10, or they can have 20 different nodes for all different actions that they can do, which would then look something like this. You'd have this array of Gmail tools, the array of Zendesk tools, and the array of MCP tools over here, all plugged into one single server, which I think is actually not a smart way to do this. And in this case, you would literally just separate and you would just build separate servers to manage the infrastructure for the separate tools. So yeah, you would have one server just for Gmail, one server just for Zendesk, and then one server just for MCP. So yeah, my preference wherever possible is to use this kind of setup where you have separation of concerns, and that just means separate servers and separate MCP tools communicating with those servers. All right, so now let's figure out the similarities and differences between using MCP or the execute n8n workflow. So on the top, we have what we're already familiar with. We have an MCP client tool communicating with the server, and then the server has access to 3 separate Gmail tools that this agent can actually use. So then on the bottom, we have the execute n8n workflow setup, where we have an call the n8n workflow tool communicating directly with an execute workflow node over here. So it's very similar how this MCP tool just communicates with this server. We have this tool communicating with, it's not a server, but it is an endpoint that you can target. This is very similar to just like hitting a webhook, so to speak, but it's not exactly similar, but it's like that. You actually have an endpoint that this tool is communicating directly with this endpoint, and then you have this tool communicating directly with this endpoint as well. So the main difference is that this MCP server is actually a parallel execution of tools, which means that this agent using the MCP client can actually hit each of these separate tools within one workflow. Whereas on the bottom over here, the execute workflow node, this is a linear progression. There is no multiple parallels unless you build it out yourself, but then your agent does not get free choice over which of these specific tools to use. It's only a static workflow. So what that means is if we actually want to reproduce this kind of parallel workflow execution using this execute workflow, we've got 2 main ways to do this. The first is to actually have multiple execute workflows like this, where each of these workflows has a separate action in their Gmail tool. And in order to actually communicate with this specific workflow, you have to have 3 separate call n8n workflow tools. So like tool 1 will communicate with workflow 1, tool 2 with workflow 2, and then tool 3 with workflow 3. So as you can see, it's actually a lot more overhead than just using a simple MCP tool and MCP server. So yeah, this is a slightly more complicated build out. Or your second option, in order to have that kind of parallel execution of tools, is to call an n8n workflow and then use an AI agent, and then you have your separate Gmail tools here. But really at this stage, what you would actually do is you would take these Gmail tools, you would remove this second workflow because it's not needed at all. You're literally just double handling by having two AI models to try and decide which tools to call, and then you would plug them into this very first tool like this. There you go. But this brings me to my final point about like, what's the actual value of using MCP within n8n for actual n8n workflows? So this is where I think the value of using MCP within n8n is. I think you would have a MCP server that has a strict set of nodes. So over here we have Gmail. So this server would just be my Gmail server. It has every single Gmail tool linked up to this server. And then I would have all of my main workflows. So every time I have a major workflow or a new client that's onboarded, it's actually very easy for me to just plug each of these workflows into one server. And if I ever need to do maintenance on Gmail and I'm like, shit, I just want to switch from Gmail to Mailgun or something like that, I don't actually have to go into all of these separate workflows, which would take me so much time to just like repeatedly go in and change all the Gmail to Mailgun. And if I have 10, 20, 30 workflows, it'll just take me literally like forever to do that. But if I have an MCP server, now I have just only one single point to go in and to manage my 10, 20, 30 workflows. So that's what I think it is. I think it's going to help you scale your workflows. I think the more of these servers you have, it's going to be, yeah, one, easy to scale, and then two, easy to manage. So yeah, let me know what you think about using MCP in n8n. I'm still trying to wrap my head around exactly where the main use case is within n8n workflows. So if you're using it for anything different, please comment that below. I would love to hear that. So then I can also up my game in n8n. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. See you later.